All right, as you guys know, most of our cars are finished. They all need a little bit of tweaking yet, but they're all running, moving, and stopping, and that is super exciting. Project cars are never really finished, but the only things not finished are my trucks. So we thought, you know what, let's buy another one. And it's time for another project. Now we'll still continue working on the F350 and the Silverado, but we came across this gem, and we are proud to announce that we are working with Shell. As you guys know, I've been using Shell Rotella in all my vehicles for the last 20 years, so we love working with companies that we already use. And they said, Rich, which one of your diesels needs some heavy-duty Shell Rotella engine oil? And we said, none of them are close to firing up. And they said, well, we would love to get you back on the road with something. So we thought, you know what, maybe we'll drive around and see what there is for sale. And we came across Optimus Prime here. This is a 1979 GMC Astro. Hasn't ran in about 7-8 years, but that's what the current owners have been told. They never actually fired it up or got it running, and it's just super cool. 8V92 two-stroke Detroit. So it's got a turbo and a blower, and that's the only engine that we're missing. We got lots of turbos. We blew up our only blown engine, the V16, so we gotta try and redeem ourselves and get this thing on the road. We don't know exactly what we're into, but we'll tip the cab over. We're gonna do an oil change with some Shell Rotella T4. I think this old classic deserves that at the very minimum. See if it turns over, see if we can get it fired up. And then from there, we'll decide what to do with this thing. It was just too cool to pass up. I mean, an old Cabover full of mice, like it's the way it's gotta be. Oh, look at that. Let's get into it. Here we go. Already finding pieces. Awesome. Okay, so first things first is the cab tilts up so we can take a look. A lot of them had like a hand pump to get going a little bit. There is a, I think that's this line actually, but there's a lock to lock the pin in on the back here, so when you slam on the brakes, the cab doesn't go forward. And it was already disconnected, so a good thing they didn't have to slam on the brakes when they were towing it, because she would have tipped over. We got a 4x4 and a floor jack. The frame on this truck is completely shot. It was triple C, so she's heavy spec for sure. Issue is that on the layers, the salt and crap gets in between, and then it chews the whole thing apart. So that is an issue, but the cab is actually in really good shape. The floor is all there, and everything's complete. So see if we can tilt this thing up a bit. Okay, that's first stage. The oil filter, jumped up under high. There's tricks to doing this without getting any oil on your hand. It's not bad. Uh-oh. That's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign. Oh, we bought the wrong truck. What is that? Piston? Oh, it's like a nut. It's probably just a mouse in there. It's not steel anyway. I think we're okay. That's good. It's a good sign. Okay, so we're using some T4 in this old girl. It's actually my oil of choice. It's what I run in everything. And it's also what our million-mile Dodge was running, Shell Rotella T4. Now, we won't ever be doing that much driving. He drives all day, every day. But this is a perfect oil for an older engine. This engine does have about the same amount of oil as our 3126. Interesting. All right, let's throw some batteries in it and fire it up. Here we go. Okay, so we got a nice Cummins battery from V&R, and I had a couple other batteries at home. To make it more complicated, this is one of my better batteries. It's been around for a while, but it's charged backwards. I don't know how it happened, and I've tried depleting this completely and then charging it back up again the proper way. They told me it was 24 volt, but the alternator says 14 volt, so we're gonna wire it up for 12 volt. If it's not 12 volt, it just won't work. If it's 12 volt and we hook it up to 24 volt, it'll wreck the alternator and the starter right away and fry everything inside. So we've got positive connected to positive, and then this cable connected to there, this positive connected to this negative because it's actually positive, and then we've got this positive, which is actually negative, hooked up to this negative and this negative and this negative, with one ground going to the thing. So that should be it. It's so easy. Ugh, that's not very comfortable. think that's neutral. Got lights on. Oh, it really stinks. Woo! All right, well, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Clutch works. Well, that's not a good sign. I thought my batteries were all good. They're all charged. Yeah, the voltage is dropping right down. Like, the batteries are good. We'll disconnect that backwards one, even though I know that that's a good battery, but this cable's green everywhere, so we might have to just get a new cable. She's hot. So this cable goes from here to the frame, and then from the frame to the starter, but we'll add this cable, which goes right to the engine. Hole's too small. That hole is just right. We just fried the computer. No electronics anymore inside the engine. It's terrible. That's the end of the day, short day. Take 2, here we go. I turn it faster. I think if we put a booster on there yet, we crank it up, I'm sure they got a booster. Okay, so the fuel filters look brand new. It's turning over faster. We've got a big charger on the batteries now, so, and an extra ground. It's looking good, but for safety's sake, we're gonna tilt the cab up and pull the valve covers off and make sure that the racks are free. What happens is if the rack gets jammed in full throttle, she can run away on us. There's no flap on this one to choke it off, so it could start running on its own oil and then grenade and explode in 1,000 pieces, and we don't want that in front of his shop because I don't want to build him a new shop and that door looks expensive. So we're gonna tilt the cab up, pull the valve covers, and I think we can get this one going today. Here we go. Here you go. Got the valve cover bolts out. Gotta tip it up just high enough. I can see the rack there. And every one of them is moving back and forth. There's oil up in here, so that's good. Don't bolt that back down again. This side, I don't think we're that lucky. I think I gotta pull that off. I don't think it's moving as free as the other side. I think we can tilt the whole bracket out of the way down here. Yeah, so if you look at this, we want to make sure that each one of these is moving nice and free, back and forth. So this, see the little lever coming out? It needs to go back in again and make sure that it's nice and free. If it's stuck, it will spin on these springs and go full throttle. Then things get exciting and we start tripping over each other and we start falling out of the cab, and then it starts going faster and faster. It starts sucking its own oil through the blower, running on that instead of fuel, and then after all that it starts getting exciting. So we don't want that. But even though I'm confident that it's not going to run away, we're still going to disconnect the intake pipe and have a chunk of wood or something that we can block it off with in case things get hairy. If we just block it off up there, it'll suck air through all these little crevices here and there, and it'll slow her down, but it won't stop her. So the owner was saying that he's been around trucking for a while. He's seen half a phone book got sucked through one of these pipes. Find something to hold that down, we'll be good. We'll lock it this time. We've got some Billy Talent. Is this yours? Right. It just did, John. Yeah. Big Shiny Tunes 4, right on. Okay. For all of mine. Well, so how do I shut it off? Oh, shut off right here.
Yep.
That's it?
That's probably it.
That's probably it. Oh, baby. What's that?
We're out of ether.
Oh.
Hang on, I'll grab something else.
All right, so this line was disconnected, more than likely because the previous farmer just wanted the fuel out of it. So we filled our empty pail with some diesel. We got direct fuel going in now. Hopefully we didn't suck too much air. More than likely we did. All right, so we're not actually sure if the shutoff, I think, was for the PTO because it was an air switch and we need a mechanical something or other to move the fuel on and off. So we're just gonna tilt the cab up again and see what's going on fuel-wise. Oh, come in a bit. That's throttle. So then it is air operated. So there's two of them.
One might be shut off, the other one might be high idle.
Okay, yeah.
It should be one of them deals where it'll start
But
and idle, but then it needs air to shut off.
Yes, and that's what I'm thinking. Because otherwise you're up shit creek, you can't do that. Add a little bit of air in the filter, so change that one. So we're down a bit, so that's why it wouldn't start. I'll try again, but I think the batteries are...
You, baby, 'cause I'm gonna be knocking forevermore. I'm tired of waiting, tired of waiting in the line. I'm tired of waiting, tired of waiting in the line.
It still died. I don't know if that was too much ether. I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll try it again. All right. I'm gonna put it right on the starter.
The fire that I've got in store for you.
I mean, that's too bad, eh? It could be the starter. It's not even that the starter's getting hot, it just ends up in that bad spot. And if it goes fast enough to go past the dead spot, it'll go in the good spot again. So, we're out of ether, but it's not, our issue is we got a dead spot in the starter. So it spun fast the way it was supposed to for just like 5 seconds, like 3 times out of the 25 that we've tried. So we're kind of SOL. I've got the starter for the 6V71 at home, but that's a 24 volt. So that gets really complicated in hooking up the electronics in the cab. I don't really want to get into that. And we got the air starter. So either way, it's Saturday afternoon, everybody's closed. So we're gonna give it 5 minutes of just sitting here so I can reflect and maybe try and start, but it's not looking good right now. Dun, dun, dun. But you know us, we're not gonna give up. We'll hear it run at some point. Maybe not in this video, but it's gonna run. You just press it and hold it. I foot on the throttle, full throttle. So we're down to Aaron trying to start it, me trying to hit it with a hammer, while Brian squirts some ether and he's got the shut off there. So. Okay, go ahead. No, useless. She's toast. 8 batteries and a charger at 300 amps. There's wires right on the starter. There's nothing else to do. It goes fast and then it dies. I wonder, maybe the starter's just really hot, and if we leave it like an hour, it might go. Do you mind if we come back in an hour?
No, we don't care.
Yeah? Alright, let's do that. Alright, had a quick little bite to eat. It's a little bit cooler now. I'm gonna put the charger right onto the starter, put the 8 batteries on there, see if we can get past that dead spot. If not, good old neighbor Phil Armstrong had a starter kicking around. We might throw that one on yet. I don't know if it'll fit, but it might. Sun's a little lower, it's a little cooler, lights on. Just have enough time. Here we go. Starter's just warm, definitely not hot. Yeah. Got some new ether, new old ether, but it did work. Hook ready, shut off ready. All right, it says Detroit on it, so it should be the one. Let's see what happens. It only takes 20 liters of oil. That's it. What oil do you guys run?
Cabover.
Yeah? T4 or T6? There we go, yeah. I think it's the same. It's got an X here, it's got an X here. 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. 11. 11 teeth. Would you look at that? So we got the right size nut-ish, but it's the wrong thread, so we're just gonna make it the right thread. Now, fork, so I just need to tighten it a hair. It's so heavy. That's hefty. That'll chip a tooth for sure. Batteries work good. Now it's got a full charge. They're not hooked up to that truck. And then we can add juice accordingly. All right, try again.
Yep. Really?
Nothing. Okay, so I think what happened is we got a 24 volt starter. And so now I think disconnect the alternator and wire it up for 24 and give her. That'll make her spin. All right, we'll do that real quick. I'm gonna just take the excite wire off. Get rid of all of these. No fires, no big explosions. So far, so good. Now we've got two 24s in parallel. All right. All right, 24 volts. Let's see if that works. 24 volts, buzzes louder. The bulbs didn't blow. They're pretty bright though. Let's hear it. You ready?
Oh yeah.
You ready with the shut off too?
Yep.
Come on. Hook up your truck again? Yeah, just a one battery pack, I guess.
Yep.
It's okay. I smell that.
No, that's the truck.
That's, oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Then I bet you it's a 12 volt starter.
No, it's coming out the exhaust.
Oh, okay. It doesn't smell like it's 24.
No.
Wow. Yeah, like this is warmer than it should be for that little bit, so it's probably 12 volt.
Might have woke it up though.
Yeah, who knows? It's fun now, so. You got baking soda handy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Smoke that exhaust.
Smoke.
It's good smoke.
Yeah. Stupid starter. Alright. 12 volt, new starter, truck hooked up, charger hooked up, 8 batteries. Hop in there and just keep your foot on the clutch. Make sure it's in neutral. So one more thing, if that cable's long enough that we hooked up as a ground, I'm gonna run that one straight to the starter. And then we're gonna see if we can find another ground cable for that. Because two starters don't do exactly the same thing. So we just added a whole other cable to the starter that should have been from the start. Both starters doing exactly the same thing. New cables, new batteries, 8 batteries. Can't have 8 shit batteries. Maybe that one cable wasn't enough for the 24 volt juice. Okay, so they told us it was 24 volt. I didn't believe them because there's a 12 volt gauge and that alternator says 14 volt, which means that it charges at 14, it's a 12 volt system. So originally I started with a 12 volt and that made sense. It was kind of turning over, had some issues. I thought maybe crap batteries, tested them all. They're all fine as of last night. So then we went to 24 volt. No, we didn't go to 24 volt. We grabbed another starter, but that was doing the same thing. So then we went to 24 volt. That didn't do it. So we thought maybe we woke the starter up and we went back to 12 volt, but then that didn't do it. So then we added the other 8 batteries and the charger, but then that didn't do it. So then we added another cable, a brand new thick cable to the grounds and to the starter, and that didn't do it. So now we're back to 24 volt. Don't be shy with the ether.
Yep.
Oh! Okay.
She got compression. Because you can hear it coming back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. One last hurrah.
Oh! Just about there.
Just about there. I know it's gonna go. That was some knocking. This is why I have to leave, because I can't not do anything. It's like, all you have to do is wait.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot. There's the ether port up there.
Oh,
and another one right there.
That's awesome. We got built-in ether port there. We got a homemade ether port here. Just kind of like spray it in this general direction. It's made enough revolutions. It's not hydrolocked. It's not. It's, and it spins, and there was no chunks coming out of the oil pan.
No knocking when it was spinning.
No, and you could hear the compression kick back on the one. So, all right, start loading her up.
Oh, that ether locked it.
Oh. Ooh, I like that.
All right, we're gonna call it there. Starter is like red hot. I don't think we're gaining anything. Pretty well out of ether. Thanks, Brian, for letting us screw around here. He's gonna tow it to our place, and then we'll take it from there. I don't understand what's going on, but why it spins so fast and then it just stops. But it's the most action this truck's seen in about a decade, probably. Back on the GMC next day. I'm trying to wrap my brain as to what's actually going on. It spins so fast and then dies, and I'm not sure. Two starters acting the exact same way is a coincidence, and that usually doesn't happen. There's something else going on. I'm just not sure what. But for now, the easiest thing, we did find 6V71 at V&R like a year and a half ago. I know that starter's good. That was a running engine, so I think we'll grab that starter. That is definite 24 volt. Throw that on just for fun and then see what happens. So let's get into it. Here we go. All right, starters on this side, and if you're wondering if a 6V71 starter is the same as a 8V92 or a 16V, it is. They're so stinking heavy. Good enough. So, good grounds on the starter, on the block, new cable going to the starter. I don't know what else to do. Getting good at the swapping starters though. Okay, so we did replace the backwards battery, just in case. If you guys know of good batteries, definitely comment down below. Because we even asked the truckers, do you guys know of any good batteries? And they're like, no, every battery we've tried in the last 5 to 10 years sucks. I'm pretty confident it's not gonna run away because we checked all the racks. I'm like 50% confident that it'll even start, so. Here we go. Longer, but it's still slowed down. Not like it should go. Back up. It's spinning longer now. I don't think there's a raccoon stuck in the exhaust manifold, so we've cleared that diagnosis. You can charge all the batteries and plug it in. Try again in like 2 hours. Okay, so I plugged it in, but we had an issue with that. You can check your plug just by putting your voltmeter into ohms, and you need to have one terminal of your plug connected to the other side. If it doesn't, then you got a problem. so I had a problem, and it was cut here, so I fixed it permanently, but I must have burnt out the heating element inside because she doesn't work anymore. So we got the batteries charged, but it's not very hot. So we're gonna torch the bottom of the oil pan, get the oil nice and hot, and then put a little bit of hot air down the intake along with some gas and some ether and give her one more go. Here we go. I'm gonna double these up in case these were an issue. Okay. Now if there's a screen over this like there is on the IDIs, we could soak some gas on a rag, and the fumes would go in and it would light on that along with the ether. Instead we'll just maybe put a little bit of gas down the intake. A little bit of Timmy's for good luck. See if fuel comes out of there. No. We're obviously not getting fuel. I think it'll run. It sounds healthy enough when we're cranking it over. All these lines are dry, but the fuel filter's full, so I don't understand that. Unless that pickup is no good on that tank. But it would have sucked the fuel filters dry already, so I think our fuel pump is shot. So it goes from here to this filter, it goes out from here, goes to the fuel pump, which is driven off the timing cover, then it comes back to this one, and then it gets force fed back into the passageway in the head. So that is a bone. This was disconnected, right? But I thought it was because they wanted to siphon the fuel out. That's open. Okay, so we've bypassed the mechanical pump. We've got this little electric pump, and we'll at least bleed it this way. Oh, there we go. See? We got fuel coming out, so that's coming out the return now. So now the entire injection pump and line should be full. We'll tighten that up, and it should, I bet it'll fire right up. I bet you won't even turn over twice before it runs. Come on. Ah, let me see some fuel. There we go. There we go. Oh, baby. All right, whole system's full now. We should have checked that from the start. You're not getting hard. No, we couldn't have done that. It just wasn't turning over fast enough. Still had some issues. Ready? No ether. So we should be able to release the brakes. Oh, so yeah, so the shutoff does work inside here. So that's interesting, but it only works when you have air pressure. So if it runs away with no air pressure, you're screwed. But you get air pressure real fast because the compressor's turning way too fast. So that's good to know. All right, that was frustrating, but it's confusing. Like a diesel has to turn over fast for it to light, even on the ether. So even though not checking for the fuel yet wasn't the first step at the other place, once we got it cranking over enough, and it wouldn't catch on the ether, the fuel is the issue. If a diesel's not running, it's not getting fuel, plain and simple. So this thing, It was a lot of fun. I think we'll go over it in the next video and find all the issues and kind of figure out what we should do with it. But for now, Shell, thank you very much for partnering with us knuckleheads, firing up old crappy garbage like this. But seriously, they'll be joining us on some road trips, bringing the Bronco and everything back. So really excited about this partnership. Thanks for watching, guys. This stuff is a lot of fun, but be safe, be careful, and get out there and get dirty. Because if you're not dirty, are you really having fun? If you're not filthy, you're not rich. Here we go.